I've written my derivatives here, and I'm just going to take a minute or so and show you how I check them on Desmos. So what I did was I wrote in my S of t, and then I wrote in what I got for my first derivative, and I wrote in what I got for my second derivative. Position, velocity, acceleration. And what I'm going to do, and I see that here's my graph. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check my settings. So I know that I'm looking for, I'm not looking for negative time, I'm only looking for positive time. And I know I don't need to go out to infinity or really big number, but I'm going to reset my x-axis. I'm going to set it at like -1, so I have a little bit of space next to the 0. And I'm going to set it as far as, let's say 20 seconds, or 20 time. I'm doing that just because I kind of have a sense of what this problem is looking for in terms of x values. And because also when I look at after having done that, I can see that, well, my orange graph, which is my position function, well, it's a negative position function, so it's going to have up, down, end behavior. And I can see that I'm kind of coming from the up. Somewhere down here and on the bottom here, I'm turning around, and then I'm coming up, and I'm touching the x-axis, and then I'm going down again to infinity. So I know that between 0 and 20, I've kind of covered all of the real action-packed parts of that function. And my velocity function, well, because it's a derivative of a cubic function, it's going to be a quadratic function, and I can see that I've covered my zeros. It'd be nice if I could see my maximums and minimums down here, and I'll do that in a minute. But for x-axis purposes, this 0 to 20 is okay. And my third derivative, acceleration, is linear. So really all I'm concerned about is where it crosses the x-axis, maybe where it crosses the y-axis. So how am I going to set my y values now so I can get a good look at this graph? Well, I'm going to zoom out. And I'm going to zoom out until I can see places where these graphs turn around. And I can see, well, it looks like this quadratic graph turns around at about, it looks like about, 40. And then the cubic graph, that's the orange one, that's my position function, looks like that turns around at like around -200. So I'm going to use those as my settings. I'm going to go here, I'm going to say my y-axis, let's take it up to +50. Negative, I start with the negative, so I'm going to go to like, -250. Let's get rid of that 0, that'd be painful. And positive, I'll go up to like 80 or something, that's above the 50. Maybe I'll go to 60. Okay, now let's look at my graph. It still looks kind of tight. My x-axis changed. Why did my x-axis change? I don't know why. I'm going to change that back down here to, come on now, -1. It changed when I zoomed out. -1 to 20. Okay, so now I have a pretty nice looking graph. I can see all the action. It's not particularly well proportioned, but that's okay for